All right, today we are unlocking a really powerful lens for understanding stories and the characters inside them. It's called psychoanalytic criticism, and it's basically like a detective's toolkit for literature.
So, have you ever had that feeling you're watching a movie or you're deep in a book and you just want to scream at the main character like, "What are you doing?" They keep making the same mistakes, sabotaging their own happiness. It's so frustrating, right? Well, what if there's a really good reason for all that self-defeating behavior?
Well, the answer is hidden. It's not something that characters themselves even understand. It's locked away deep inside their unconscious mind. And today, we're going to learn how to pick that lock. Okay, so to get started, we need a map of the mind. And for that, we turn to the OG, Sigmund Freud. We're going to use his ideas as our foundational tools to see what's really going on beneath the surface. Think of it like a psychological iceberg.
And the most important part of this map is the unconscious. Now, you got to understand, this isn't some dusty old attic where memories go to die. No way. It's this active, dynamic reservoir of, well, all the stuff we can't deal with consciously. Our fears, our desires, our deepest conflicts. And even though we're not aware of it, it is powerfully motivating pretty much everything we do.
So what happens to all that painful stuff? You know, the tough experiences, the things we feel guilty about, they don't just poof, disappear. Our mind actually shoves them down, pushes them out of our awareness. This process is called repression, and it's basically the mind's way of trying to protect us from getting hurt.
But here's the catch, right? That stuff doesn't just stay buried. It's always trying to bubble back up to the surface. It's called the return of the repressed. And when it does come back, it's not obvious. It shows up in disguise, often as those self-defeating behaviors we were talking about. So for instance, a character with a neglectful parent might keep choosing partners who are emotionally unavailable. See what's happening? They're unconsciously trying to resolve that old conflict, but it just creates this cycle of anxiety and disappointment.
Okay, so it sounds like a real war zone in there, doesn't it? Well, Freud actually gave names to the different players in this big internal conflict. This is so cool. Think of it like a three-way tug-of-war inside your head. On one side, you've got the id. It's the wild child, the engine of desire. It runs on the pleasure principle, it wants what it wants, and it wants it now. Then, on the other side, there's the superego. That's your inner critic, your conscience. It's absorbed all the rules from society and your parents, and it's all about morality. And who's stuck in the middle? That's the ego. The poor ego is the conscious referee, trying to make the id happy without getting in trouble with the superego, all while dealing with, reality. So much of a character's drama comes from this constant battle. So if all this important stuff is hidden and repressed, how do we ever figure out what's going on down there? Well, we have to become detectives. We have to look for the clues the unconscious leaves behind. And the two biggest places to look? Defenses and dreams.
First up, defenses. Think of these as the ego's personal security team. Their whole job is to keep that repressed stuff from bursting out and making us anxious. They're constantly on patrol, keeping those uncomfortable truths on lockdown. Let's take a classic example, displacement. This is a big one. So imagine a character gets totally chewed out by their scary boss at work. They're furious, but they can't yell back, right? They get fired. So they bottle it up, go home, and then explode at their partner over something tiny, like not taking out the trash. They've just displaced all that anger from a threatening target, the boss, onto a much safer one. So anytime you see a character just fly off the handle over something small, that's a huge clue that displacement might be happening.
But the real secret passage into the unconscious, that's our dreams. See, when we're asleep, our defenses are down. Those security guards are kind of dozing off. And that's the perfect time for the unconscious to start sending messages. But it still has to send them in code. So here's how Freud thought dreams work. You've got the latent content. That's the raw, uncensored truth, the forbidden wish or the deep fear. It's too intense to handle, so the mind does this thing called primary revision, where it scrambles and disguises that truth using symbols and weird mashups. What you actually remember when you wake up is the manifest content. That's the strange, nonsensical movie playing in your head. So our job as literary detectives is to take that weird movie and work backward to figure out what it really means. Okay, enough theory. How does this whole toolkit actually work when you apply it to a real story? Well, let's open up a case file. Our subject, The Great Gatsby. Now, if I asked you what The Great Gatsby is about, you'd probably say it's a tragic love story, right? This guy, Gatsby, throws his whole life into winning back the love of his life, Daisy. It's the ultimate romance gone wrong. Or is it? A psychoanalytic reading tells a completely different story. Get this.
From a psychoanalytic perspective, Gatsby is not a story about chasing love. It's actually a story about running away from it. The argument is that it's a psychological drama all about the character's deep-seated fear of intimacy, and that fear is rooted in their messy family histories.
Suddenly, everything looks different. Gatsby's epic obsession with his fantasy version of Daisy from the past, it's not romantic, it's a defense mechanism. It lets him chase the idea of love without ever having to deal with the messy, scary reality of a real relationship with a real person. And it's not just him. Daisy can't commit. Tom is always cheating. From this angle, every single action they take isn't about finding love, but about avoiding it.
All right, so we've seen the theory, and we've seen it in action. Now let's wrap this all up into your very own psychoanalytic toolkit that you can take with you.
Because that's the whole point, right? Now you have the tools. You can be the literary detective, uncovering the hidden psychological secrets that are really driving the story.
So here are the questions you can ask about any story. What are the unconscious motives pushing this character forward? How do their family issues from childhood pop up in their adult life? Could this whole crazy plot be read like a dream? What did the symbols really mean? And maybe the biggest one, what core anxieties are they trying so hard to repress?
So I want you to think about your favorite characters, the ones who make you scratch your head. Which one of them has a secret they're not even telling themselves? The real story, the juicy story, is almost always the one being told beneath the surface. Now you know how to listen for it.